You can go to our website and download that press release. The whole purpose behind the $773,000 grant was for a 24-month period of time for Professor Maxwell Mellman, who is the professor of bioethics at Case Law School, to lead a team of scientists, researchers, and also persons who have an interest in government policy over a 24-month period of time to do one thing only: to establish the guidelines that will be used in setting public policy, that is, in other words, law, by which all of us will live, that will regulate the next step in human evolution, human enhancement. That happened right here, 2006. Well, in 2009, just last year, the 24-month research period was over. Professor Mellman, and if you read this, and I won't take time to read it to you, they talk about using human subjects during this 24-month period of time. So I had sat back, bated breath. I wanted to know, in what way do you use human subjects in experiments for establishing guidelines that will be used for setting public policy with regard to human enhancement as the next step in human evolution? I wanted to know. I'm a taxpayer. This was a taxpayer-funded study. You paid for it. I wanted to know, how were humans used? Well, there was no disclosure yet on how they were used, but here's what I noticed: that immediately when it was finished being funded, Professor Mellman began traveling in the United States, going to different universities in the United States, giving these two university lectures. Number one, directed evolution. Sharon, directed evolution, public policy and enhancement. And the second lecture, Transhumanism and the Future of Democracy. And if you think I'm kidding you, you can go to Arizona State University, you can go to Google, you can type in Professor Mellman's name and type in these titles, and you can actually go and download the audios where at different universities he's giving these lectures. I went and listened to them myself. I was amazed in one of them where he talks about how, yes, human enhancement may in fact lead to an extinction level event. Yes, it may lead to the eradication of all life on earth, but we're going to do it anyway. And that was really his position. Besides those who are in Ohio, I would venture to say that very few Americans are aware that just this last year, in 2009, in California, there was a House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing. It was chaired by Democrat Brad Sherman. Brad Sherman was picked, by the way, to chair this series of hearings because of his expertise in the spread of weapons of mass destruction among terrorists. Well, what was Brad Sherman, this expert, excuse me, in weapons of mass destruction among terrorists? What meeting was he chairing? What was these House Foreign Affairs Committee hearings all about? Mark Stenzel, who is a writer for the Congressional Quarterly, attended the HFA hearings. He came back. You can Google his article. He wrote an article for CQ, for Congressional Quarterly, called Genes Without Borders, in which he described attending a series of government hearings in which he said, hey, Rob Skiba is a filmmaker. He's working on a series right now. He's got the pilot, I think, is being made. He's made the trailer to sell it to whoever the buyers are in Hollywood or television or elsewhere. The film is called Seed. Go to Google, type it in, find it, go there, watch the trailer. If you can support this project, do so. But hey, Rob, at the HFA hearing, what CQ writer Mark Stenzel made us aware of, he said it was more like listening to a Hollywood pitch for a sci-fi movie than it was a sober discussion of scientific reality, with its descriptions by government officials of near-future horizon superhumans, super animals, and super intelligence that will become a lethal force against which we are not prepared. Well, just when I was packing up to leave on this trip, have you seen this? The Global Governance 2025 at a Critical Juncture. Have you seen this report? Go to our website, Forbidden Gate, singular, not plural. I know, the book's Forbidden Gates, plural. The website's only Forbidden Gate. Sorry. Went to get the domain and somebody else already owned it. Checked to make sure first it wasn't a porn site, and it wasn't, so we went ahead with ForbiddenGate.com. Wouldn't want any confusion there about how exciting our next book is. You'll find a link there where you can download this. This came out this week. This is September 2010. Came out this week. This report by the United States intelligence community and by the European intelligence community. You know what's terrible is you're way over there, I have to have glasses on. When I'm close, can't have glasses on. I want to read you just a part of this. Go and download this, read the whole thing for yourself, because the whole report is on global governance. And what they're talking about are the various issues, the causal agents, if you will, that are pushing us toward a global government. U.S. intelligence, European intelligence community, just now published, September 2010. But go to page 35 and note where they say this: no forum currently exists for dealing comprehensively across the scientific community, industry, and governments on measures needed to diminish the risks posed by the biotechnology revolution. Now, what are the risks? What exactly do they mean? Well, they certainly do mean some of what Sharon Gilbert was talking about, the potential for terrorists to get their hands on living biological entities, the remake of a mouse pox or something else that they could release into dense community populations that could literally become a Black Death. They do mean all of that, and there are security agents right now that are staying up at night afraid of the very fact that we haven't yet had somebody buy one of your sequencing machines. Well, I don't think you're selling them. But in any case, but what were they talking about? What is their fear? What is the fear of American intelligence, European intelligence, when talking about biotechnology as one of those things that could push us suddenly into the need for a global government? Here's what they say, 35. I've dropped down only a half of one paragraph. In addition, biotechnology, which the OECD thinks will potentially boost the GDPs of its members, listen, can drive new forms of human behavior and association, creating profound cross-cultural ethical questions that will increasingly become politically contentious. Few experts believe that current governance instruments are adequate for these challenges. Then they give an example. For example, direct modification of DNA at fertilization, now we're talking about germline engineering, is widely researched with a goal of removing defective genes, in other words, our own form of eugenics. However, discussions of future capabilities open the possibility for designing humans with unique physical, emotional, or cognitive abilities, in quotes. Amazing, huh? U.S. intelligence, European intelligence, providing what? This is an 85-page report you can download and read for yourself. Go to page 35 to read the quote that I was just making. But quoting what causes could suddenly set in motion the need for a global government, and here's human enhancement. The same thing that the HFA hearings in California were saying, that we are on the cusp of something we cannot stop. Because our enemies, this is what the Jasons are saying, this is what DARPA is saying, this is what the U.S. Air Force is saying. Our enemies will develop this technology ahead of us. Go to Wired Magazine just to get a glimpse and read the article called Jason's Fear, Brain Modified Foes, and how the Wired Magazine got a leaked document from the Pentagon, in which the leading think tank at the Pentagon is saying this technology is getting out of the box. It's already starting. They're already doing it. You know, I haven't seen the movie, but the movie Splice, have any of you seen that movie? I did a show with Steve Quayle recently. He's telling me all about the movie Splice. Part human, part animal creature, but something happens. It suddenly starts mutating. It becomes something else. It grows wings. It becomes what? Russ? Demonic? Suddenly it's turning into a giant, the Nephilim, the spirit of the offspring, and now we've opened a gateway through our technology. Well, but our own leading security experts are saying, yeah, blah, 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 can't help it. Other people around the world, China, the Soviet Union, anybody who can develop this technology is developing it right now. We are in a position, the Jasons believe that this is the next arms race. Super soldier technology and many other ramifications of weaponized biology is the next curve, if you will, taking us where we're going to go. Well, to put it on a very practical platform, am I talking too fast? Am I talking too loud? Am I talking too stupid? Okay. Because all of the above, when you're an old preacher, can happen at any moment. And you have to get somehow back, if you can. You get on a pig trail and it's, where am I? Oh, Lord help me.